Amazon Relay is a great place to start. A lot of brokers don't even want to work with you in your first 30 days, but there are such better ways to find loads. You're not going to find loads paying above $2, $2.50 a mile, looking on the DAT load board, looking on the Amazon Relay load board. There's a much better way to do it.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and
there is a progression to finding loads. In the very beginning, brokers don't really want to work with new carriers, which makes sense because you haven't established yourself, you're inexperienced, and brokers just don't really trust working with new carriers. Once you've hit 60, 90, 120 days, it is a lot easier to find loads because a lot more brokers will work with you. Amazon Relay is a great place to start. Everyone knows about Amazon Relay, but they don't really pay as good as some other brokers. They're great because they pay in the first week. They're great because their load board is pretty easy to use, but the loads aren't great. They're usually only going 200 miles, and they're usually paying between $1.80 and $2.20 a mile. So for that short of a run, the pay is not really that great. Plus, from what I've seen, they often go from a city to the country, like where not a lot of loads are. So they're going to take you from Atlanta and then they're going to send you like 200 miles to the middle of nowhere. So you're going to really struggle to get a load coming back to Atlanta. The DAT load board is another place where everyone goes to find loads, but a lot of brokers put loads on the DAT load board that they're not able to find carriers for, which means they're probably not very good loads. All the really good loads get snatched up directly from the brokers, so they don't even make it to the DAT load board. Also, be careful of double brokers. So there are brokers out there that will get a load from another broker and then drop the price down $200, post it up on the DAT load board, and then try to find a carrier to move it for them. And then the broker pays the broker, then the broker pays the carrier, and then you're just missing out on 40, 50% of the actual load. So stay away from double brokered loads. Your name should always be on the rate confirmation. If the broker seems super shady about giving you information about the shipper or the location or not even giving you the rate con or the BOL, stay away. Always do a credit check. Just avoid working with brokers that are not factorable because chances are they're not legitimate brokers and they haven't been in the business for very long. Just stay away. So the first 30 days, sure, use Amazon Relay, especially if you're in a hot spot for Amazon Relay. Like there are great spots in the country, but not every city, not every town has Amazon Relay. So use the DAT load board in the first 30 days, first 60 days to find loads. But here's what you need to do. Every time you run a load with a broker, get their email address, establish a relationship with that broker, send them a follow-up email the next day, thanking them for, great time working with you. Here's my contact information. I'm always running loads in the Midwest. I'm always running loads in Texas, Florida, wherever you are. Reach out if you ever have something that needs to be moved on a box truck or a tractor trailer, whatever you're running. If you do this every single time you run a load, you're very quickly going to get 10, 30, 50, 100 emails of brokers. So next time you're stuck in Arizona, get that list of 100 brokers and just send out a mass email. You can do what's called a blind carbon copy. So you can send an email to 100 people and they won't know who else you sent it to. Don't CC 100 people on the same email, but you can send out a mass email just using your regular Gmail account. You can send out that mass email and you can reach 100 brokers instantly and say, hey, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm looking to get out of here. Do you have any loads available? And then once you really establish a good relationship with brokers, they will actually reach out to you, especially if you're consistently running the same lanes. Like if you're consistently going from Atlanta to Memphis and Memphis back to Atlanta, brokers typically will be working those lanes, and so they'll reach out to you directly. Those are the best loads you're going to get because those loads never make it to the DAT load board. Brokers are going to give those loads to their most reliable customers, their most reliable carriers. That's the best way to get the best loads from brokers. So establish those relationships. And then finally, the cream of the crop, the best loads are directly from shippers. But keep in mind, most shippers have an agreement with the broker, and you also have an agreement with the broker. Once you sign that rate confirmation, you basically are signing a non-compete. You cannot solicit the shipper or the receiver directly to get their business. And if the broker finds out, there are potentially serious consequences. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to solicit the shipper or the receiver to try to get business with them directly and cut out the broker. It could potentially be very profitable for you, but it's kind of a gray area. It's pretty much against the rules if they are already working with that broker and if you're also working with that broker. So just be careful trying to, talk directly to the shipper and the receiver, but that doesn't mean that you can't hand them a business card, shake their hand, be really professional and, let them know, hey, I'm always in the area. Maybe we can work together. LTL versus expedited freight. Two very different things. Let me talk about LTL, less than truckload. That's typically 1 pallet, 10 pallets, something that could fit on a 53-foot trailer, but it won't take up the full truckload. FTL is the opposite of LTL. Box trucks typically look for LTL, but here's how that works. So LTL freight is typically, you'll have one driver driving a 53-foot van and he'll drive around to 20 different places all in the same city. He'll pick up 1 to 5 pallets from each shipper, and that's considered LTL. And then that driver will take it back to his warehouse, and then they'll cross-dock it. So they'll take it off the truck, they'll rearrange it onto a different truck that's going to a different city. So they'll take all the pallets off, cross-dock, split them up, put them on new trucks, and then they'll redistribute it that way. LTL freight pays like $1 a mile. Us running box trucks, we can't really afford to run traditional LTL. So you almost want to stay away from LTL freight because it's a whole different way of transportation. It's a whole different, but what you can sell to your customers, you can say, hey, if you want to run expedited, same day delivery, no one else is touching your freight. So if they have something fragile that the customer might not want it to be taken off the truck, put on the truck, moved around the warehouse, put in shelves, put back on the truck. You can kind of sell your services to potential customers by saying, hey, this will be a dedicated truck, expedited delivery. It comes on the truck from the shipper and it doesn't leave the truck until I get to the receiver. Same day delivery. That's expedited. Whole different scenario, whole different service from LTL. So just keep that in mind whenever you're trying to sell yourself to direct shippers. We're not really looking to take over LTL because we can't compete with $1 a mile. We're looking for $2.50, $3 a mile, and you're not going to get that with shippers who are used to shipping LTL. Maintenance is such a necessary evil. It costs a lot of money, but with us running equipment 3,000 miles a week, it's inevitable. We will spend a lot on maintenance. I want to touch on a couple things that I didn't really know about whenever I first got started. First of all, 8,000 miles, you're going to need an oil change. Give or take, depending on your engine, depending on how many miles you drive in a week, but you can always reach out to the manufacturer or your mechanic or check the manual in your glove box, but find out how many miles your engine is good for between oil changes and stick to that. Don't push it a couple thousand miles. It's not worth it. For the cost of maintenance, expect to spend between 10% and 20% of the miles you drive. Another way to think about it, 10 cents to 20 cents for every mile you drive. So for example, if you're driving 2,000 miles in 1 week, expect to spend between $200 and $400 every week on maintenance. And this week you might spend $0 on maintenance, and that's not really what I mean. You want to budget between $200 and $400, between 10 cents and 20 cents per mile. Save that money for maintenance, because over the course of 6 months, 12 months, the life of your truck, you're going to end up averaging right around 15 cents per mile in maintenance. So factor that into your cost per mile. Save that money for maintenance in the future, because just because you don't have any maintenance this week, you might end up spending $1,000 next week. So maintenance comes and goes. It's not consistent every week or even every month. Also, if you have a really old truck, like older than 2015, expect to pay 20 cents a mile. If you have a brand new truck, if you have a truck, 2017, 2018, 2019, a little bit newer, less miles, expect obviously to spend less on maintenance. That's where you get the 10 cents versus the 20 cents. And that's the pro and con of buying a brand new truck versus a used truck. Brand new truck, a lot more money up front, but hopefully less downtime, less expense on maintenance in the future. If I could go back in time, I would buy as new as financially possible is what I always tell people. So as much money as you have, put all of that into as new of a truck as you can possibly afford, because you will save money on maintenance and you will make more money because your truck will be down less. And if you hire a driver, your driver will be exponentially happier in a new truck versus an old, rundown, breaking down all the time truck. Last thing I'm going to talk about is long haul versus short haul. If you're just getting started, or even if you're thinking about adding a new truck, or even if you're thinking about switching how you operate, you need to consider long haul versus short haul. A bunch of different, it's a whole different type of service. Long haul is obviously going to pay less per mile, but if you're driving 500 miles per day, you can afford to make a little bit less per mile than if you're only driving 100 miles per day. So for example, if you're making $2 a mile and you drive 500 miles, you're gonna make $1,000. But if you're only driving 100 miles and it ends up taking you 4 to 6 hours, you can't really afford to run that truck for one day and only make $200 based on $2 a mile. So if you're running a short haul, a very quick trip, only take a couple hours, consider maybe having just a bare minimum. I think $400 is a decent amount, even if it's between 1 mile and 200 miles, anything in between there, just charge at least $400. You basically need to charge like a whole day. Also, if you're paying your driver, you need to consider, am I going to be running long haul? Am I going to be running short haul? Or for you, if you're the driver, do I want to be home every night? Am I willing to be out for a couple weeks? It really all comes down to you, your business, and how you want to operate. It doesn't matter. You just need to fluctuate how you charge your customers and your cost per mile and your expectations. If you're going long haul, you might need to spend money on hotel fees. Maybe you're paying your driver to sleep in a hotel. If you're doing short runs, maybe you're only paying your driver, $20 or $25 an hour to run local deliveries. There's money to be made, long haul and short local deliveries. You just need to know that the price per mile is different for long haul versus short haul.